Yep, the little button just came up. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending. We'll go ahead and do a roll call. Call meeting to order, do a roll call. Rachel, you want to do that? Or Bill, I don't know.
See, I have access here to my people. I think I can do this. Yes, you should be able to.
Okay.
Let's see, just for the sake of moving it forward, tell you, Tim, I can see through the participant chat as well. Tim, Allison, Pat Chawla. Is Pat on the call? I don't see her name in the list, no. Richard Clark is here, I believe. Richard Clark. Greg Gilbert. Ed Lisinski is here. Geoff Mitchell. Mark, I believe, is here.
Yes.
Bonnie is here. Yes, Bonnie is here. Sam Palmer. Manjit. I don't see Manjit either. Sam Steele. I see Stan, yeah.
Here.
Sean Toomey. Do not see Mr. Toomey. And Dan Weed. They also have, let's see, Director Hampton.
Yes.
Rachel Parrish. And Ron Piester, I think, is on the call. Yes, Ron is there as well, as I am. So, yes, indeed. Looks like you're good to go, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll move right on to leadership approval of minutes. Everybody got a copy of last meeting minutes in person. So take a motion for those.
Motion to approve.
Second, Allison Cook.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor of the minutes being passed, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Approved as read. Leadership reports. Director Hampton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess everybody made it back safe from the code hearings and leadership conference. We have had a one board meeting since then. I'm not at liberty to speak about the discussion, but we have another board meeting coming up this Friday. It'll be a pretty good long meeting. And then we have an in-person board meeting in June. We are still actively pursuing a CEO candidate to put toward the board. Not to harp on Bill's GR report, but deadline June 14th for building safety leadership experience. You can already register for the ABM in Long Beach if you wish to do that. And we're winding down Building Safety Month. So I hope everybody's got their proclamations in. We were down this year compared to the last few years. I think at last count we had our state signed by the governor, our state chapter, one of our smaller chapters, our region, and 82 from local jurisdictions. So I don't know. I was hoping we'd do better than that, but we'll take what we can get. We did have school visits, high school and grade school, and there were several presentations in Kentucky by different governmental agencies to the building departments with their presentations for their Building Safety Month. So I hope you all done the same. I hope you all send it in to the website so we can get all that stuff posted. Other than that, I mean, we know Long Beach is coming up, so I would try and make your hotel registration if you can. It's, from what I understand, a little bit of a nuisance. But anyways, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I didn't see any other board of directors on the call. Anybody have any questions for Director Hampton?
Dan, we just logged on for the record.
Yep. Okay, Chair, it has been a busy month since we met. Just both working here, multiple calls trying to get everything prepared and ready for the annual business meeting. So fire service is moving forward. And that's about all I got right now. Allison.
Hi, so thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll try and keep it brief. It's a little bit off the rest of our agenda, but we did some great diversity training as chairs or vice chairs of various committees and membership councils. And one of the concepts that came out of that was pairing new governing members or new serving committee members their first year with someone who has served longer. So like, I'll pick on Tim in the fire service. The first year you get somebody new on the fire service, they might be paired up with Tim, they might be paired up with somebody else, kind of like the board does for their new members. It was a really nice concept that came out that I think a couple of people who are on this call heard, but I did want to share out that concept and thought it might be nice as the steering committee to encourage other MCs to do that. So I thought it was a really nice idea. I know my first year on ELMC, I had no idea what I was doing. BMC, it was a little bit of an advantage because I had already been working with them for a bit, but just something to share out in a concept we may want to explore later that was well received in that meeting for anybody who wasn't able to make it.
No, I agree. Excellent point. Thank you. Rachel, anything from the secretary?
I'm going to defer mine till later in the meeting.
That's fine. Thank you. Move on to our ICC liaison, Bill Nash.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Again, my apologies. My camera's not on. I've just actually pulled off. I had a doctor's appointment in my calendar that I completely missed, and so I'm on my way there now. So, but I did pull off to the side, so I am safe. So let's see. The GR update. Yes, I'm not able to click on that link from my phone and show you and share my screen. But again, as I talk about often, this is the update that goes out to all of our GR staff people. There you go. Thank you for doing that, Tim. There you go. Looks like that. Yeah, there you go. Great. So yeah, so this is our monthly update. Rick Hoffey out of our staff takes care of doing this, putting it together every month. So I'd encourage you all to make sure you encourage your membership, but not only with your councils, but also within your jurisdictions and any chapters or regional groups that you're a part of. Make sure you get your hands on this document. You get a link. It is a digital link, and you can ultimately print it out and share it, but digitally you could share it as well. So I'd encourage you all to get that. There's always an awful lot of information on there, and much of what I think we'll talk about today, some of it will be included in here, but you know, it's the same good information that we put out. And as I'm looking on the form here, clearly there are hyperlinks that you can click on and go to and get any more information. So please take it upon the initiative yourself and share this freely, and we'll push much of this information out. We'll talk more about the ABM a little bit later. I think Building Safety Month, of course, we'll wrap that up a bit, I think, shortly. And yes, yeah, that's really all I have, Mr. Chair. I apologize again for my misstep on my calendar dates.
Not a problem, Bill. Yeah, I understand. We've all been there, that's for sure. Moving on to our task and deadline updates. The first one on the list is the governing committee council or voting policy. I have I was in there today. Oh, there we go. If I can get that to move, maybe it'll go there. As you can see, we do have 4 so far in the governing service. Sustainability, fire service, emerging leaders, and the BMC have entered their information in there. It's kind of different, some are similar formats, some are a couple different, but at least we do have those documents in a place where we can kind of make them workable, I think, and put them in a very similar one. Go ahead, Allison.
So thank you, Mr. Chair. Excited to see half the MCs have gotten them done. That's awesome. I did have a brief conversation with Dawn and suggested they had some questions about what they uploaded. I don't know if now is an appropriate time since we have both Bill and Ron here.
Actually, we're
that's
going to
okay.
go ahead and make that change we talked about earlier.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I see Dan has his hand up, so thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep, go ahead, Dan. I can't
Can
hear you,
anyone
Dan.
else not hear Dan? Okay, great.
Yeah, no, no,
I think what Dan may be reporting is that he sent to me earlier today, folks, their markup. So I know that's in my email. I saw that come through. So I think that may be where he wants to speak up on, but I certainly can get that and forward that. Well, I get it into Monday, but I think he may be having some challenges getting into Monday, Allison. So maybe I'll forward it to you, and you may, or Rachel might be able to work with him on getting him appropriate access.
Yeah, if you forward that to me, I know we finally resolved like a handful of folks, and I spent some time with Greg and Bonnie to get their access resolved. So happy to work with Dan, you on that. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Yeah, and I know Don had an issue too, but I went ahead and uploaded their document in there. Still not sure quite what it is, but we'll get them in there, that's for sure. So I don't know if we want to go through all those right now. It maybe, I think I want to try to put them together and get them into a similar format. If Don, you're going to make changes, it almost makes sense to kind of wait until we get a better document to work off of.
Yeah, we just got one minor change. It's not going to be much, but yeah, for the most part, the document's great. It's just one change we have to make.
Okay. And what we might do is see if we can put them in a similar format, send them back out prior to our next meeting so everybody can review them and understand and make sure that whatever format changes we come up with, they're all, nothing gets changed or nothing gets lost from those. And we can, we'll go from there. Anybody have any questions or comments about that? Any other issues that were addressed or you found going through the process?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there you go, Dan.
Hey, I'm finally 100% here. No questions, thank you.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to briefly check in. I know you sent out that email, but what is the deadline for the MCs that still haven't been able, since you're going to spend the effort to put that together? What's the deadline you'd like to see from the last few groups?
June 15th. I'm giving you an extra 2 weeks. So hopefully, like I said, I think the other groups that you found out, it wasn't much of a lift once you got the documents together. So I kind of expect everything in the next 2 weeks to be able to put something and have everything ready for Mr. Piester, who is going to give us an update later on. Moving on to the goals and initiatives. You should be working on those according to the template that Rachel has put out. June 1st, we're to have some partials and some information ready. We're still going to try to work through that. July 15th is the final deadline for those. I know Fire has been working through several of their goals already. So we're trying to get them into the Monday platform. Once again, kind of running into a couple issues, but we'll work through them as I'm really trying to get the chairs of those groups, public awareness, emerging trends, into the Monday platform so they can do their own updates. Has anyone else had any other or tried to upload goals and initiatives to Monday? Stop sharing that, by the way.
So, Mr. Chair, I think one of the things Greg, Bonnie, and I noticed when we were going through this is we have a lot of like the goals and initiatives there, but they don't have like the year ahead of them. So I added the year to a few of them, like the 2023 Wicked Permit Day of Service, and somebody could add like 2024, the 2023 AMB call, annual business meeting call for booth coverage. So maybe that would help is to, for folks who have created these things, put the year in front of them, and that way we don't have to necessarily create a separate goal item. Like we certainly should still share those with Rachel for the report, but I don't know how you or Rachel feel about how useful or helpful that is.
Yeah, I was going to clarify a little bit because I think people are seeing last year and they're thinking 2023, and that's really not it. We're most of the way through 24, and so we're going to need to have the goals that y'all had for this year in there, and your progress on these goals, and then the ones for 2025 for next year, because keep in mind this annual report is going to come out at the end of this year. And so it will be a summary of the 2024 goals that you had and you completed, plus the goals for 2025. And if you are able to, I know that the final deadline for your 2025 goals is after the annual conference, but I have to already have submitted this to ICC Media. And so if you have placeholders, if you have things that you already are pretty sure, even if you need to tweak it a little bit, I would really appreciate any heads up information so that I can put it together. I can always modify it a bit, but at least having something in there so that they can go and start formatting everything would be very helpful.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right. Moving into the Building Safety Month wrap up. Direct to Hampton kind of went over some stuff. Bill, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still in the middle of Building Safety Month. Obviously, it's our last week, and much of the information has gone out. I know there's been, I think Director Hampton is accurate in stating that proclamations are down a little bit this year. Not exactly sure why. I know social media campaign has been active. I've seen a bunch of stuff on social media campaign. So, you know, I would just say continue doing so and pushing. Still time. I mean, we'll take proclamations right up until the end of the month and then and beyond. Frankly, we'll take them if it happened prior to. We just can't get the documentation in. So, yeah, and I think there'll be more. There'll be more of a summary done by additional ICC staff once the month wraps up and completes. But I think for now, I'd just like to continue to encourage people to reach out to your jurisdictions, your chapters, your regional groups. Keep bringing those proclamations in.
Director Hampton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to comment on what Bill said, we discussed this a little bit in our BMCGC meeting last week, and I think it's done a lot. But you know, I just kind of makes me wonder if where so many more people do participate in social media, that maybe that's just kind of taking the place of some of it. So I don't know. I don't participate in it, so I don't know. But I think that maybe it's, you know, we're getting participation. It's just people are posting them on their Facebook pages instead of sending them into the website. We just need to, our states need to coordinate that a little bit better. But I think we're still going to be okay. I mean, we still done a lot of good stuff. We still tooted our horn a little bit and explain to people what we do and why we do it. And so that's good. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments, questions? All right, moving into the membership council reports. I'll go ahead and go through building first. Ed, Allison.
If Ed's online, I'll defer to him.
Yeah, we just had a meeting, what was that, last week, Thursday? Yeah, pretty good meeting, a lot of good participation. Most of it actually was spent really just talking about our goals for this year and our goals for next year. We kind of got that all mapped out and everything. And then also just working on those election documents and stuff that we already talked about. So yeah, I think everybody's just sort of getting ready for for the fall and trying to get some of this stuff, all the election stuff and everything all straightened out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for EMC. Unless Allison or Rachel, if you guys have anything else to add.
Okay. I'll give a fire report. Yeah, Chair Toomey is actually on vacation this week, so I kind of gave him the day off. But we met again, the other day, the 16th last week. Whenever the A2L refrigerants was a topic, because that's coming to the foreground, and we're trying to work with our mechanical plumbing group to make sure we're all in the same page. A lot of updates from public awareness and emerging trends. Emerging trends will be extending or I guess being more promotional than anything. We're trying to get more input from different areas concerning those trends that are not only affecting fire but also building and the codes. We're working on some training classes. Then hopefully we'll be able to have something at the ABM again. So we're waiting for those announcements to come out. And that's pretty much it. We'll be having our next meeting in June. Emerging leaders.
Good afternoon, folks. Greg Gilbert, Vice Chair of Emerging Leaders. We haven't had a meeting since April, but general updates for us, with Building Safety Month coming to a close, we've had our videos released every week. We have the ELMC annual mug swap that closes for sign up on the 31st. It's a good time. You get picked with somebody across the country and swap a mug and maybe some trinkets and get to know somebody else in your profession from across the country. I got to make my plug for the Wicked and PTN Day of Service. Donations for that are open. Sign up for that is also open. There are 2 projects going on, the beautification project and the Playhouse project. I can put links to all those if people are interested to pass those on to their membership committees in the chat. And lastly, we have our education presentation for each meeting. Last time we had Phil Anthony from Digital Codes come and give a presentation. This time I believe Alex Kerr will be coming back and doing an update on the technical training program. A lot of good stuff coming there. I think for now that's it for us, unless Bonnie, you have anything.
Nope. Thanks, Craig.
Great, thank you both. Moving into sustainability.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Don Mock, Chair of the Sustainability Membership Council. We were working on our goals and objectives, and plus the elections document. Also, we have Building Safety Month going on this month, where if you see our posts out there, like, share, get the word out. And we met last Friday, and our next meeting will be July 12th. Do you have anything, Pat, to add to that?
Nope, you said it all.
All right.
Very good. Thank you. PMG.
This is Dan Weed. I'll defer to Richard Clark. I think he's on today.
Hey, Dan, would you go ahead and take this? I've got poor cell reception. I'm on the road as well on it.
Okay.
And hope I'm coming through. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you great. Yep, no problem. We've been meeting recently with our ICC staff and working through our adjustments, minor amendments to our charter as far as the voting thing. So I think we've got that done and got everybody on the governing committee approving those changes. Had a couple of little suggestions, which we took a couple of. And so that is done, and we'll upload that as soon as we figure out how to do that. Old guy technical deficiency, you know. And let's see, we've also been talking about our meeting coming up in Long Beach, because of course we'll have elections then, and it looks like we've got several openings that will probably at that time, and so we were kind of going over possibilities and dealing with that, plus we have an opening right now as well. So we were working through that. I know we had a placeholder for a meeting this Friday, but I think we're probably going to be putting that off since we've been so busy with other things. So ICC staff is helping us work through the Four Corners educational events that we've been having, and maybe tweak them a little bit to where we can be made more aware of to the young people in the world that are interested in PMG type things, so that they can realize that there are, you know, pipe fitters and plumbers and things out there that we can make it known that ICC and our membership council is a resource for them. We can show them how to get tests taken and codes bought, and try to be a little bit more at the situations or the conferences where they would be, and appeal to our younger high school and upward students. So that's been our focus so far.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any questions? Global. Manjit, I know you're on the call.
Good afternoon, folks. Can you hear me right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Sorry, had a bit of a technical difficulty as well, so missed about 5 minutes of the meeting. Apologies for that. We had our second meeting this morning, 5 a.m. Pacific time. That was 8 a.m. I think for Eastern, and Australia was 11 p.m. and all over the world how the time frame goes. This was our second meeting. We do our quarterly meetings. The next meeting is on August 28th. That'll be 9 p.m. Pacific and 12 a.m. for Eastern Seaboard. So the purpose of our meetings is why we are changing, and we're only doing quarterly because time zones, and secondly, because we have folks from all over the place. We try to make it uncomfortable for all of us, not just a one sector, and it's working great so far. As far as the updates, we have not done our voting policy, which we'll be having it out to you by June 15th. We appointed a committee, and we can get it done today within the next 2 weeks, and not an issue. And same thing with goals and objectives. Update as a part of the Building Safety Month. May 21st was Neil from Oceanic side. He spearheaded this. May 21st was International Building Safety Day, as coincided with the Building Safety Month. And what we are trying to do with that is trying to sort of have a more international focus, obviously through coming through and piggybacking on Building Safety Month that ICC does. So we're promoting building safety trying to promote at an international level, and the places where they may not have a regime of building codes, or they may have somewhat of a regime, but trying to promote building safety. So that's something that we're working on. And we are also finalizing some of our webinars for this year and the following year. So we'll update on those as they become available through the through our portal. Next thing on the ABM, we are putting under GMCs, we are putting a little education thing regarding performance and prescriptive based codes, and we're trying to sort of format it as you would do with the code development process. So the pros and cons of it. So we're putting it on a panel together, and GMCs is sort of taking a lead on that. That is so far the update. And any questions, please fire them away.
I see none. Thank you very much. And
sorry, Mr. Chair, can I just ask a clarifying question? With what Manjit, you mentioned the nominating or voting process. BMC only provided, and I think so did some of the other membership councils, just our requirements for being a governing member. We are not going to outline specifics for the nominating process, or hadn't intended to, just because like we want the flexibility year from year, because I know previously we've partnered with some other MCs, but then in other years, like the timeline's been so tight, we couldn't get that done, you know, and who we put on nominating each year changes. So I just want to clarify, is the expectation just for this June 15th deadline, the critical thing is if you have any restrictions or requirements on membership, and anything else we want to add, we can do, but you're not worried about that June 15th deadline for that, or?
Okay.
I just want to make sure I understand that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll done work on that.
Yeah, the expectation is if there's anything out of the ordinary, we need to have it documented prior to. And I know Ron's going to talk more to the process here in a few minutes. So, major jurisdictions.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Steele, the Vice Chair. Just wanted to give a quick update on our governing procedures. We finalized those, and I sent those actually over to Allison just now. And thank you, Allison, for dropping those in. We got a work plan worked up where we have 6 presentation style meetings per year. We just had one on May 10th, I believe, or May 13th. I have to look at the past minutes, but yeah, May 13th. And we had a discussion on remote inspections and video inspections and such, and the case for keeping those around as a program. And it was a good discussion. We're planning our next meeting is June 10th, and that will just be a standard steering committee meeting with guests invited, but it won't be a presentation. We're planning on doing a rollout of talking about some of the things we're doing similar to what we're doing in Seattle with a remote or an applicant service center that's virtual, and also looking at some AI. We're going to have some discussions around artificial intelligence. So looking forward to that and getting ready to go for the next ABM. So Sam Palmer said he couldn't make it today. Apologizes for that, but business is business. So that's all I've got.
All good. Any other questions? All right. Anybody else have any final thoughts from the membership councils? All right, we will move into the next big topic, which is the ABM in October. And I know Ron has a lot of updates for us. So Ron, I'll let you take over and go through the items that you have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I hopefully at this point I don't need to give you too many of the details on the annual conference. you've all experienced the drill before, and our conference website is up and running. We've been running conference registration for over a month now, and that's earlier than usual. But one of the reasons that we chose to do that was because we're expecting a really big conference this year to celebrate our 30th anniversary, and so everybody's really starting to get excited about that early on this year. I think Director Hampton mentioned something about reserving hotel rooms. I would encourage you all to go to the ICC conference website and reserve your hotel room as soon as you know your excuse me, your schedules, and are prepared to do that, because rooms are filling up. We've got plenty of rooms available, but I know that there's been some difficulty with the governmental rate rooms because of the limited availability that we are provided from the hotels that we contract with. That is an issue that we don't have negotiating leverage for. We find ourselves at the whims of the various hotels with respect to with government rate rooms. So, Mr. Hampton, it looks like you had your hand up.
Thank you, Ron, through the chair. Just comment on that. Somebody made a comment last week in one of our meetings that they allow so many of those rooms a day, maybe per hotel, so that if it's not available on Monday, maybe check back on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And because somebody said that they had checked a couple of the hotels, there wasn't none. Somebody else told them that. They went back the next day and there was 10 available. So I don't know. Just a little point of interest there that somebody mentioned last week. Thank you.
No, very interesting. Great point, Mr. Hampton. Thank you. Again, the full schedule for the conference is on our conference website, and includes many of the events that you're familiar with and have participated in the past. With respect to the membership councils, your meetings will occur on Wednesday, October 23rd. And there will be you will begin with a steering committee meeting, which essentially will serve as similar to your joint membership council meeting as in the past. So that will be open to all of your council members, and open to the public as well. And then that will be followed by individual membership council meetings to close out the morning. I know that you are interested in hearing what the election process is going to be like this year, so I want to share my screen if I can, and give you a quick rundown of what the schedule looks like. Let me just find it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go ahead, Ron. You should be able to.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You can see that. First and foremost, thanks to Rachel Parrish for helping to work this schedule out. Really appreciate that you taking the initiative to do that. This is a rundown of the schedule for your elections this year. One of the things that will be much different this year is that your elections are going to be held online prior to the annual conference. So this is the first time we'll be doing it this way, but we're hoping that this will allow your councils and your steering committee more time during the conference to focus on the issues that are of interest and relevant to your members. So that this process will all essentially take place before the conference. As Chair Diehl mentioned, we're looking for your election specific criteria that, again, they have to meet the Council Policy 9, but beyond that, your individuals councils have wide flexibility to set additional criteria. We're looking for those to be finalized by June 15th of this year. We're planning to open the call for committees or call for applications for the membership council governing committees on July 15th. And that window will remain open for about 1 month and will close on August 16th. On the 23rd of August, staff will present all of the applications that have been submitted for the membership councils to your nominating committees, or whatever structure you have put in place for determining nominees. Again, you're not required to have a nominating committee. I know most of you, maybe all of you have in the past, but you don't have to have a nominating committee. You simply have to establish a procedure for reviewing those applications. The individual council recommendations will be due on September 9th. And then on September 13th, we will open the window for self-nominations. So this is, again, considering an online process, this would be the portion where an individual could be nominated, quote unquote, from the floor, as you have done in the past at the membership council joint meeting. So there will be a 10-day window where individuals can self-nominate, and the recommendations will be posted on the 13th, so people will be able to see who is being nominated for the open seats, and people will be able to self-nominate. After that window closes, then we will open the window for voting from the individual membership councils, and that will close on October 11th. So it all happens pretty quickly, and people will need to be cognizant of the dates, but we'll certainly make sure through our marketing and communications department that your individual council members are given plenty of notice and clear instructions. And then simply on October 23rd, during your steering committee meeting in Long Beach, the election results will be announced. And so that will be a pretty simple announcement, and will then everyone will understand where the recommendations stand, and those recommendations will then be delivered to the board of directors, who ultimately are the responsible party for making appointments to the membership council governing committees. The board will be meeting in early December, and it's anticipated that during that meeting, the board will make appointments to the membership councils for the following year. So before I stop sharing my screen, does anyone have any questions about the schedule?
I'd like to make one additional comment on here. In addition to this, the deadlines that were adopted in the steering committee meeting during Leadership Week, I'm going to be sending out Outlook invites to the email list for the steering committee. I will have a reminder either 1 week or 2 weeks in advance. That's going to be at y'all's discretion. Would you rather a 1 week reminder or a 2 week on the deadlines that require your action? Allison has a 2. You can just show me fingers if you're on the call. 2 weeks. And a whole lot of not caring. Okay, cool. 2 weeks it is. So a 2 week reminder on these, but I'm only sending out I'm only sending out the reminders or the invites for items that require action. So things like the online voting opening or the call for committee opening, y'all aren't going to get those through invites, only the ones that require action on y'all's part.
Dan, you had your hand up?
I do. I think I might have missed the time on October 23rd for the steering committee. I think our membership councils are from 9 to 11. When is the steering committee meeting?
Hold on one second, Dan. Let me see if I can get to the, here we go.
I realize schedules are made to change too, but tentatively anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so on Wednesday, October 23rd, we will have a members forum from 8 to 9 a.m. From 9 to 10, the membership council steering committee will meet. And then your membership council meetings will occur from 10 o'clock to noon. Does that answer your question, Dan?
It does. Thank you.
Certainly.
Ed, you had your hand up?
Yeah, well, one question and one just verification. So just verifying, just like in the past, the board of directors they're going to make those appointments at their December staff meeting, but then those will actually go into effect on January 1st. Still, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
All right. And then are the people who are getting appointed or that basically won the elections, are they going to get notified of that prior to October 23rd so that they can attend the governing council meetings and everything if they wanted to, even though they're not a member yet, but it still would be good to have them there in person?
That's a great question. I would be interested to hear from your steering committee if you have any preferences regarding that. My inclination would be that once we know the election results, that we would notify the successful candidates to give them an opportunity so that they can schedule accordingly. But at the same time, I would certainly be interested to hear if the steering committee had any strong preference one way or another. And
yeah, and as long as I still had my hand raised ish. Sorry, Allison, I know you got yours raised as well, but I still got my mic unmuted, so too bad. I'm talking. Yeah, my preference would basically be, if we could let them know, just because in the past, we'll have like one or two, maybe we'll elect 5 new ones. We'll have maybe 1 or 2 who were there anyway. When I reach out to tell the other ones, like, oh, if I would have known, I would have made it to the ABM and I could have, met people, shook hands, at least gotten your face around. Otherwise, you're waiting all the way till April or May before our next actual in-person meeting. So I think it would be great if they were notified somehow a little bit beforehand. But I'll see, like you said, we'll see what everybody else thinks.
Allison, go ahead.
I have a side comment to that, but I do like that idea from Ed. Maybe it is, I mean, I don't think ICC should pay for anyone who's there, but maybe for people who do get the nod from nominating all the way back on September 9th, it's better to tell them then, like, hey, you've been nominated, you still have to be voted in, but if you're voted in, ICC will cover the cost of a flight and 2 nights of hotel for folks. I think that's, just to confirm, that's what Ron we're hearing, because I know, like, for BMC, we know one person already is not going to be able to make it to the ABM who's terming off, and so I think there is, like, theoretically the means to have those folks attend, and I think it would save everybody money and they could cancel the flight if they're not voted in. But like, if we're waiting till voting closes on October 11th to show up on October 23rd, that's tighten a lot of money. So yeah.
If I could respond to that through the chair, I'll certainly take a look at that, but I think it's important to remember that these election results are not final. These are the final recommendations that are being presented to the board of directors for appointment in December to begin the first of the calendar year. So I think that would need to be taken into consideration, but I'll certainly take a close look at that.
Yeah, Ed, you came back.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I wasn't recommending that we cover their flights or anything like that. I think it would be great if we could, Allison, I agree. But I was just saying, just kind of giving them the heads up so that if they wanted to attend, if they're, coming anyway, then they know, hey, I can pop in there and see some of the people I'll be working with for the next 3 or 6 years or so.
And I see it as their new term really does not start until December 1st. But I will, again, defer to Ron and his judgment. Anit, you had a comment?
Thank you. I think you covered that. If the term doesn't start until January 1st, then it's just an election happening. There is no obligation for ICC to cover the cost for ABM. Unless you are a member at the moment, then it's a different story. So if it's a new member coming in, you really don't have a status until December 7th anyways. That's how I feel.
Yep. Rachel?
I think it would end up solving a lot of this if we just sent out emails to the ones that have been nominated by the governing committees, just saying, an informational email saying, you have been nominated by your governing committee to be a governing member. Votes will happen at the ABN. You're welcome to attend, but ICC basically won't pay for you to go. That way they're notified that they have been nominated if they want to be present for the voting or any of the sessions. But that ICC isn't obligated to pay for anybody until they are actually members of the committee.
Yeah, and I think it's something we can look at. Director Hampton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think they're going to consider that until you are officially elected. It wasn't just a few years ago that we had to fight tooth and nail to keep you all with 2 face-to-face meetings a year for all the membership councils. It is a large expense, and we're not hurting financially. So we were able to continue that tradition and to benefit you all because, as I have said many times in our meetings, you are the backbone of our organization, and you're the 10% that gets it done. And the other 90% is just along for the ride. And we appreciate what you do, but I really don't see them considering that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Patricia?
I was going to say that, again, mirroring a lot of people, thank you, Rachel, for putting this table together. Is there any rules or policies on ICC's part of how many days when back from ABM when they need to do all these things? I know that there's a few of them, but I think in the past we discussed this a little bit at the SMC, that it wasn't always clear when the elections were happening or when the applications went out, so that we got everything in on time and meeting the 1 month deadline and something like that. So I was just finding out if there's a council policy to try to kind of cement some kind of 30 days prior, do this, 30, backwards, so that we can always get applications around, say, June 15th or June 1st or something like that, so we can plan accordingly on the membership councils.
Through the chair to Pat, Council Policy 9 contains the basic timing of the election process that is outlined in this schedule that you're looking at right here. So if you go to Council Policy 9, you'll find that.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't remember if it contained everything. Thanks.
Sure.
Bill?
Nash. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't think my hand was up, but I'm glad it was. It's hard to find it on your phone here. Oh, there it is. Apologies. So I just wanted to be clear with the folks relative to the process. as you look at the schedule, and I think I see August 23rd as we present to the nominating committees, and Ron indicated that there is no requirement for a nominating committee, right? Many of us in the past have nominating committees. You're welcome to do that as long as it's in accordance with Policy 9 and other ICC policies governing elections, and you're free to do that in any way you do that. As a matter of fact, I have process for the building membership councils, of which I was previous staff liaison, that I'll share with anybody who asks, but I know building membership council leadership wants to take a look at it, so I will do that shortly. But the more important thing I wanted to mention is the need for these groups to act quickly. Obviously, there's a tight timeline there, but to have make sure we appoint and nominate enough people on a list so that in case people are elected to board of directors for whatever reason, or are not able to serve, or for one reason or another aren't able to serve on the governing committees, we want to make sure that we put on these lists, these nominating lists, enough people to cover any shortfall of people to remain on the list. That said, Ron, I know it's probably helpful for the governing committees to know who's terming off and who is up for re-election. I know that document is available for staff, or you need to relook at it again, but I know that was part of our discussion at a previous call to try to make sure that the right people have access to it so that these committees know what who's terming off, who is terming off, and what their needs are going to be. So I know for one, I believe PMG has maybe 5 or 6 people to replace this year, and others maybe not so many. So I think it would be helpful, and I think Ron and I can work on getting you access to that as well.
If I can respond to
Yeah,
Bill
sure.
through the chair, my plan is to review that the document and the terms with each of the staff liaisons over the course of the next week, and then once I've confirmed that, to share and then we'll share that with all of your governing committees so that everyone understands exactly who's coming up for either re-election or if there is an open seat. And again, to a point that you made, Bill, it's important that your councils consider recommending alternates when you recommend nominees as well, because those alternates, if they are appointed or if they're endorsed by the board of directors, will be the individuals who would fill a vacancy if it occurs between one business meeting and the next. There's not going to be an election process or a reappointment process for filling vacancies. Either you have an alternate that's ready to fill that position, or the seat will remain vacant until the next year.
Correct. Allison, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I apologize, and I didn't mean to derail things with the other one. The original thing I wanted to talk about was, given this schedule, all of us should be planning to have a meeting of our membership council either the week of August 26th or the week of September 1. I know a lot of us don't meet that close to the ABM necessarily, but because of this, hey, we have the call for nominations and then we'll get those applications on the 23rd and need to turn them around by the 9th. I know one of the things we've done in the past, and I know we're almost out of time for, maybe this is something we can resolve via email, is MCs have gotten together in the past and we've had a meeting for a nominating committee, and then a few days later, all the MCs, I think BMC, ELMC, and Sustainability came together a couple years ago. I thought that was really nice to talk about, hey, we've seen people doing really good work in this council or another, where I've seen them on this committee, and making sure we get folks who are really good fits, especially when we have a need for alternates. So I don't know if any of the other MCs have interest in that, or you want to go back and all of us plan that meeting, and then everyone plan the week of September 1st to meet with their membership councils to, ratify, approve that decision. But I just wanted to kind of point out the tightness of the timeline and the need to kind of make that decision in the coming weeks so we can schedule that with everybody. But, I don't want to hold up the meeting.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have another meeting in July, so that can be a topic that we can push off until then, when we'll have a better, clear picture, because that's when the call will be out already, and we can see how things are kind of going from there. Ron, did you have any other updates that you wanted to share?
I don't, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Well, we're at closing thoughts. Anybody have any closing thoughts, questions, concerns for the group? All right. Our next meeting, like I said, will be Tuesday, July 23rd, 3 o'clock again. I appreciate everybody being on the call, and look forward to getting another document together for our goals and initiatives for all the groups. So thank you all, and have a good day.
Take care, everyone.
See you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Be safe.
Thank you.